Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to what is round 4 of RFL Season 4, and it is Tier 2 race around the streets of Baku today. I will be your commentator, Callum G247, and I will be joined by Morgs.
Yep, hello. Looking forward to this race. It is going to be one of the most hectic ones of the season. It's around Baku, of course, and Baku is famous for these hectic races in both real life F1 and league races, of course. And we are, I think both of us are very much looking forward to this.
Yeah, definitely. It's a street circuit. It's the first street circuit, well, if you count Albert Park, then it's the second, but it's the first proper street circuit that we come to in this calendar. It's a very tricky track, especially that famous and infamous castle section where we're bound to see crashes today, and the full kind of track is just going to be a tricky one. We've got 15 drivers starting to qualify, and I think it might be 16 when Artie joins the session. So we've got 16 drivers taking on this very tricky circuit, so points are going to be very interesting, and you're not going to be gifted them as we've seen in the last few races with only the 13-12 people turning up. So I think it's the biggest turnout, sorry for my phone there, for the biggest turnout that we've got so far in Tier 2 this season, so we're definitely in for a cracker of a race.
Yep, and the biggest turnout of the season, and probably what's going to be the most hectic race of the season. Whether you had the most people in the lobby or not. So, looking at the moment, doesn't look like everyone's on our lap at the moment. Who is out on track or in the pits? Trying to figure out who is going to be first across the line to set a lap. I think, yep, it's going to be Thorpsey. The man who's failed to finish all 3 races so far. He's going to be hoping for his luck and fortune to be changed this time around. But last time wasn't really his fault. He had a connection issue, which led him to fail to start the session. So hopefully he can get his first finish of the season and maybe his first points under the belt, and maybe knowing Baku, first podium. Oh, he's put it straight in the wall. I have just commentated custom. I mean, obviously it's not the race yet, so he's still got chances. Joel has crashed at the castle section and been given a 5 place grid penalty. That's not going to help him, especially considering he is a potential championship contender. Terrible news for Joel there. It has been probably a miserable season so far.
Has he even raced yet? I've not really seen that name pop up yet.
Yep, he's changed the game tag. It was Cheetah first time round. He finished 3rd place, but after having a crash on lap 1. Then in Bahrain, he had a crash as well with Alster, and then China he didn't race, and then he's back here with now AMS Joel rather than Underkit Cheetah or Joel ZQ. I don't actually know what it was. But Scott's on his lap at the moment. He's going to be the first driver to finish his lap. He's coming through the end of the first sector now. So what do you make of what do you reckon the pole time's going to be around this track, and how tricky is it to nail a lap around here?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not too sure what this pole time is. I think up in the 30s. I think that's what I can now probably in the 37s maybe. I think I'm pretty quite broad there, but yeah, about nailing a lap, it definitely isn't easy. As I'm just going to try and go and bone breath Scott if it lets me. Yep, Scott just coming through. This is a very tricky corner. Some drivers decide not to take that carbon inside. Scott stays well clear right here coming round this last proper corner, and you want to get in this carbon outside, which he does very well. It's probably one of the only curbs in this track that you do want to get on the outside. Now throwing this car in through the last few sequences of corners, Scott on the mediums already, which is a little bit of a strange one. Normally we're going to see hards, and then they set the lap on the mediums, running out of VRS pretty early though before he comes to the line. So Label Red Devil says at 140.7, that's the benchmark for Scott to beat, and he does not beat that, but only a 10th off. Well, good lap from Scott and a good lap from Label Red Devil, the man that got that podium I think last time out, so looking to bounce on from that good result last time out.
Yep, obviously podium sitter is Adam Lee, picking up a nice little slipstream there from the Williams of Recimo LFC. As across the line comes Adam Lee. He's on the medium tyres. Where's this going to put him? It's going to put him in the 142.168 as he gets nicely out of the way of Reese at the end of the lap. That's Joe into P1 with Paul actually almost going into P1 on P2 there. on a 40.063. But Joe, yeah, on a dead 40 lap there. As Emerald coming towards the line now, he's going to be on the soft compound tyres finishing his lap. What's his time going to be?
Ooh.
It could be a second clear. It's 1.5 seconds clear for Emerald. He's in P1, and what a lap that is by the Red Bull driver. Brilliant lap there. Who else is on a lap at the moment? I think Reese is on a lap. Lewis is on an out lap. So yeah, it's really now just Reese is going to be the next driver to cross the line to finish his lap. But what a lap by Emerald. 1.5 seconds clear. Yes, on a compound softer, but even so, that is brilliantly done by Emerald.
Yeah, definitely. You know, he showed immense pace last time out, just with a poor qualifying that let him down, but he had a great race last time out, and I think Adam Lee's binned it in the wall there. But yeah, it just shows you it's great pace there, really kind of impressive, and people definitely are looking at that pace there for maybe a tier 1 drive, maybe this season or even next season. There's even more yellow flags, there's Adam Lee in the wall. But yeah, really kind of impressive stuff there. 1.5 seconds later, Adam Lee's still in that wall. But that is worthwhile. Is it Reese that's on the lap there, just coming through these last 2 corners on the medium? So
yep, he's coming towards the line now. You can take over. Oh, he's backed off. No, he hasn't.
He's backed off.
Yeah, he's backed off now.
Yeah, I'm a lot.
He must have been validated or not been happy.
Is it maybe a wet race? Maybe. Because there's a lot of people in the mediums and softs already. And I just think that's a little bit strange. Because we would normally see them go out on the hards, which we're seeing from F1 Ben, Tornadoes, Tom Goring, Dongarang, who's actually on a lap right now. And you would normally see them. You would do hards and mediums at the end. Who's this?
I mean, you can do soft hards around this track. That is a strategy. I've done it before around here.
Though.
And although it's slower, it gains you that track position to start the race, which could gain you, with a field spread, it could gain you about 10 seconds, or maybe that's a bit much, maybe 5 seconds. So with a field spread, so maybe it's like, is it worth sacrificing that 5 seconds at the start, maybe even more, depending on how quickly you clear traffic, for the better strategy? So it's like that risk and reward balance you need to find. The Dongarang is on the hard compound tyres, coming towards the end of his lap. Around the final real corner there, taking a lot of curve, that wouldn't have helped his lap time.
That's not
and now down the flat out left-right handers into that left and then the right, and then you got one more right to go before it's literally just then holding your wheels straight and with the DRS flat open with your throttle down to the floor. Where's this going to put Dongarang? It's not going to be quick. Is it even going to put him up to the back row of people who set times? It's not. A 43.2. That is about 2.5 away from his teammate, EOLF1 Ben, but Dongarang needs a reserve, so he's not really in that total also. But yeah, he's 2.3 away from his teammate, EOLF1 Ben, who set his lap on the same compounded tyres, and is also finishing his lap. He's doing a second lap on those compounded tyres. Where's this going to put him? I don't think it's going to be an improvement actually. Yeah, he's going to come into the pits now and he's backed off from that lap. What about Joe? He is not on a lap, but he's done another lap on those set tyres, which he's done a decent lap on. I don't know why he's done another lap, just in case he decides to start on those mediums. AMS Joels is on another lap now. He's on the soft compound tyre, so he's going to try and chase after Emerald's pole position time. Tom Gorian comes to start his lap. He's right behind Perez. Yes, Perez goes 8th on the hard compound tyres. Still quite a bit away from ELF on Ben there. 7 tenths is the gap between them. But yeah, Joel's at the moment on a lap in the Renault. Do you want to take us through this second sector, middle sector? Oh, he's backed off, never mind, so we won't do that. But Tom's near the earlier lap, so Callum, do you want to take us through a lap of Baku?
Oh yeah, we've missed a little bit of the first sector here, but just coming through these sequence of kind of 90-degree corners in here. It's just setting the first sector into the second sector. It's a long right, left, sorry, and then into a right, but you want to avoid those curved routes. Tom's done very well. I've been doing a bit of practice with Tom, and he's quick through here, through this right-hander first gear, and don't want to get in the power too early, and he does that very nicely, just not getting in the power too early through the castle section. This is the hardest bit of the track to nail second gear through here, and on the power as early as you can. This is looking tidy from Tom Gorian so far, possibly looking to get in this top 5 with this hard lap. Now coming into a very tricky corner, there's a left-hander here, downhill braking, misses that curve down into second gear. Tom goes there, a little bit of wheel spin on, a little bit too early on the power. Now coming through the last proper corner, getting on that curb a little bit there on the exit, and here it is, it's foot flat to the floor. You can't do much more now, left and then a right, and this is him. He'll get the DRS, and his DRS will run out fairly soon as well. The DRS is now open, and that is all he can do now. Actually, he's not opened the DRS, that's interesting, and he backed out.
He's backed off
Tom
and into the bits.
So he's had enough there of that lap. That's a little bit of an interesting one there from Tom, because it was impressive there. It looked like a good lap from Tom Goring. I'm going to actually just quickly check his set times. So he's a 35.6 in the first sector, 35.4. So it was looking good. He was only 2 tenths off Joe in that first sector. So yeah, he's looking good, Tom Goring, and I think he could be a good challenger for the podium.
Yep, obviously I think he might have wanted to back off, didn't want to show his pace on those hards, but with only 7.5 minutes to go, was it worth setting that banker? I think it would have been. I'm on board now with his teammate, Label Red Devil, who set his first lap on the hards. No, he set them on the mediums. He's on the second lap on those same set of mediums. He's in P4 at the moment. Where will this lap put him? As he heads up the hill, he's short shifting a lot. That suggests to me he's not pushing as hard as he can. But down towards now, this left-hander, turn 15 I think it is, as you really want to try and get as close to that wall as you can, but if you go too close, that could be your front wing chopped off and potentially race over. As Label Red Devil is 3 tenths up at the moment. That's not going to promote many positions, but it's going to put him up and closer to Paul and Joe in P2 and P3 on the same compounded tyres. So this is what Label Red Devil wants. He wants to be pushing to get close to them, maybe even ahead of them, but I think it's a bit of a tall order. As he comes towards the line, there's nothing he can do now except keep the foot planted to the ground, and across the line he comes. It's a 40.4 improvement in the final sector, but not enough to take him up any position. He stays P4, but he's improved by 4 tenths of a second.
Yeah, it's good stuff there, but 2 laps on those mediums up, not really ideal for his start. And I'm still curious, is there a wet race here? Is this Reece Simo just finishing his lap on the soft compound? Can he challenge for that pole? It is not looking likely, and it is P8 for the Williams driver at the moment, but we've still got a few others on lap. Dongering's still out on those hards, so he's done 3 laps on them, so those tyres definitely feeling the brunt of them now. So yeah, it's interesting to see the mix and strategies kind of all over the grid.
He's going to race him in qualifying. Just going around practicing for the race. No, obviously, I think he's just getting used to the track so he can get ready for his final run, which will either be on the mediums or the softs. Looking at his pace at the moment, obviously I don't think the 42.1 is his pure pace. I think he's got way more than that, even in those hard compound tyres. So I think he could well think about going on the mediums and start trying the alternate strategies. The yellow flag somewhere as Joel starts his lap. Adam Lee's gone into second actually. Apologies for missing this, but the Ferrari driver, Adam Lee, has done a brilliant lap on those soft compound tyres. Only 7 tenths away from Emerald, and for someone like Adam Lee, who's not really been that quick this season, that's really, really fast, and brilliant lap by Adam Lee. But now can he hold it? Because obviously he had a more rubbered in track than Emerald, and potentially he's done a bit more practice than Emerald when Emerald set that time. So will anybody else be able to challenge him for P2?
His teammate
rival? I would guess it's his teammate. So this is probably the best comparison, because I think these two are quite close in pace to each other, as Joe is actually down on his medium compound time by 3 tenths of a second. He must have made a mistake somewhere, because those softs should not be 4 tenths down coming into the final sector, which is literally just a flat out sprint to the line. I think he might have backed off, as he's not using the highest EOS mode. He's backed off now, and he's come into the pits, but has he got time to do quick turnover and go again? It's going to be close. I think he will, but he might well have to rush his outlap here, depending on how long the engineers take to get him in the pit box. It's one of the longest laps down here. It's about a 2-minute outlap.
Wow. Yeah, Joel's now, he's just ending his lap there on the medium compound. Not got to set a valid lap just yet, but hopefully this is a time to shine. You're coming through these last few corners, so foot planted to the ground there. He is going to come across line at any moment. DRS will now be available to him. And will this be enough to challenge him for the top 5? It's looking good. It's not going to be pole, but it will be P3 for the Renault one on those mediums. That's the fastest lap so far on the medium compound by 3 tenths. So impressive stuff there from AM Jules, and that is really looking good from as he retires on track there. Oh, that's controversial, but yeah, looking good there. He's actually now asking for an invite.
Yep, so Good luck there by Joel. As now we really wait for the final showdown between the drivers on softs really for pole position, which at the moment looks like Ben's going to be the next one to cross the line. But he's about to start his lap, his second lap on those soft compound tyres. In fact, and I'm pretty sure he will be aiming to improve, but he actually looks like he's going to the pits. He is! He's going into the pits, but will he get time to do another run? I don't think so. I think he may well be down in 9th place for the race start. There's only 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. He's got his engineers that need to get him in the pits very, very quickly if he wants any chance of getting out and doing one more lap. So I think that could be qualifying over for F1 Ben.
Someone with not so much of BMG Lewis. Where has he been this qualifying? Obviously been doing very well, I think podiums in every single race so far, so what to keep this up, but it's not been the ways he's now starting his lap, and I think, can we go on board with him? I don't think there's anyone else starting up. BMG Lewis, I don't think there's anyone else starting up. He's doing this a little bit earlier compared to everyone else.
Yep, he's going to be the first to set a lap time on these final shootout runners. Only Scott and Ben are still in the pit at the moment. Everyone else is on an outlap or on a lap as Lewis goes wide there at turn 1. That's not going to help him at all on those mediums, which is probably the most crucial lap ever for him, especially since he's the championship challenger, and he's down in 13th place. So he's got to really make sure he nails this lap as best he can, because this could be the difference between starting in P10 and starting up near Joel's in P3, who could be a championship challenger. As he's doing really well there through turn 3 and now turn 4. He's done very well there, so he's recovering this lap a little bit. But that turn 1, I can't help but feel that's really cost him, and that could lose him quite a few times. There's 36 there in the first sector. I think that's well done on some other drivers' times. Yeah,
he's very cautious through this corner now, and that's maybe an invalid lap. I think very cutting that to the limit. It is not as valid, so he's going to keep going though, but it's a massive moment coming. Hold on. He's using no EOS. I think he might have backed off, or at least saving EOS in the middle sector. Yeah, I think he's going again.
He might well have time just to go again.
Yeah,
so he may well have to now push and take life out of his tyres to go again, because I don't think that's been good enough. Whether he's invalidated or not, it's not good enough at the moment to get him up near Joel's or any sort of championship position. Joe maybe even he's a bit too far out of reach for, maybe Paul as well. So this is a really uphill task for Lewis. He's got one more shot to take this, but he's still pushing on the lap. He's still using overtake EOS down the straight, and this could be his final lap time of the session here. As he comes down towards the line, where will this put Lewis? It's going to be somewhere up decent actually. It's going to be P4 for Lewis. That lap was better than I thought with a 39.9. Puts him just behind Joel's, but not where he wants to be, because everybody else is yet to set a lap time, and a lot of which are on soft compound tyres. Joe is on soft. He's coming towards the line now. He's coming round these quick corners, these flat out corners, and into the final right-hander with the DRS wide open. Where will this put him? Scott's crossed the line. His session is done. He starts P8 or lower today. As across the line comes Joe. He's P5 at the moment. Where will this put him? It puts him P2. Just 4 tenths away from Emerald in P1. Good lap there by Joe. Who's next? I think it might be
Emerald.
Trying to figure out who's next.
Emerald improves 38 far there, so that's extending that gap to now 9 tenths. So that's very impressive there from him.
Yep, brilliant from Emerald as running board now with Reece Simmer LFC, who I think might have backed off, but towards the line he comes. He is up on his time, and as he comes towards the line, where will this put him? It's going to put him high up the order. He's backed off. He decided it didn't work.
But
he backed off, but it didn't work. He still improved. So he was trying to back off, so he started on those medium tyres, and it just didn't work for him, and he now starts P8. Perez takes P7 there on the medium compound tyres. He started pole position last week. No such fortunes today. Labour Red Devil takes P8 as well. Podium sitter last time out. No such fortune in qualifying today. Beast has backed off. He's going to be starting. He's got no front wing as well. He's going to be starting 11th 11th for this race. So now it's all down to Lewis, who's not going again.
No,
he's not going again. And Paul, who has backed off as well. So qualifying is over, and Explode Emerald takes pole position ahead of 2 Ferraris. We're set up for a brilliant race here in Baku.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, actually, top three all on a self-compounded tyre. Then fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and tenth all on the mediums. Reese, you got to feel from there. Obviously, backing off. Probably could be up with probably fourth, maybe fifth place. They're still really kind of disappointing for Reese trying to back off the end. Just not working for him. So he's going to start down in ninth place on those softs. Scott sneaks in at the top 10 on the mediums and Beast Tornadoes in 11th. Ireli from Ben 12th, and then Dongerang, a poor showing from him down in 13th. Tom Goring as well, not managing to get a lap in, as well as Thopsy, who crashed pretty early on in this session.
Yep. So really unfortunate for Thorpsey, who crashed early on. But here is your grid. As Joel's had a 5-place grid penalty. I completely forgot about that. He will start P9.
Yeah.
So let's go into now corrected grid. So it's Emerald, Adam, Joe. Lewis will be P4, the highest medium runner. That could be huge for him because you don't want to get caught up in probably a championship competitor at the moment in Joel's, who's had a poor start to the season. Paul, brilliant debut qualifying by him in P6. Esprez in P7. Pole sitter last time out, of course, with Laboretto or podium sitter last time out in P8. Reese is P9, but all of those drivers that I just mentioned move up because of Joel, who now goes down to P9. Scott P10, Beast, F1 Ben, Dongerang, Tom Gorian, and Thorpsey. And an Alfa Male, or Alfarati, sorry, I was reading the chat there and they call him Alfa Male. Alfarati starts P16 in this race, but with a default setup, that could really hamper him because obviously Park Ferme is on, and therefore he is on default setup.
Yeah, that's not going to be ideal for him there. He's kind of fighting pretty hard from the back foot. He's going to have to work hard if he wants points in this race, but if he can keep it on track, there is a good chance I could see Artie getting into those points. But this is going to be interesting now. See what these guys, these 5 guys or 6 guys outside the top 10, what tires they start on, because this could really impact them. Beast Tornadoes, F1 Ben, Tom Gorian, Dongerang, Thopsy and Artie, all very quick drivers. And I did a little bit of practice with Tom Gorian. This may be a little bit biased, but he was quick, he was really good, and it probably wasn't far off some of the tier 1 guys. So Tom's in good race pace. If he can stay out of trouble, keep out the walls, we could definitely see Tom Gorian sneak up into top 5, but we never know. Beast Tornadoes, ERL Fun Ben, he was very quick last time out. He was just a bit unlucky getting caught up in instance. Beast Tornado, I think this is his debut in RFL, so we're not too sure what his pace could be like, but it'll be interesting to see what he'll be able to do on those fresh tyres. But it looks like everyone outside the top 10 starting on mediums other than Artie, who's going for the hards. That's what it's looking like so far.
Yep. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm now just waiting for Reese Simmer to load in. I'm not sure whether this is just him not picking a setup or whether this is the game being
brilliant.
Hopefully it's the first one. Opportunity Alonso's joined, but probably just to spectate or something.
Probably to help his Reese Simmer friend with their GRT friends.
But if Reese Simmer he can get in the lobby, because I don't actually know what's going on here. He isn't loading. That's what other people are saying. We'll give him a few minutes, hopefully, and hopefully see if he can get in. But then we do want to make sure that this race doesn't have a restart. So we'll see what happens, of course.
Yeah. And they can't leave or rejoin because, great. This game's brilliant, isn't it? We're getting the full GRT squad and GRT Atomic now joined, so get them all in, lads. There we go. But yeah, they're here to spectate their friends that is currently not in the lobby, so yeah, they're doing well there. This game's
hopefully,
really good.
Well, we're already 10 minutes late. Tier 1 starts at 9, so we actually got plenty of time to do a restart if need be. But yeah, Reese has left the session. He has
is his car still there?
Unfortunately for him, he's
now
left. His car is not
there.
Wait, what? Yep, it's not there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, hopefully maybe if he rejoins it will reappear. But unfortunately, it looks like Reese's session could be over before it's even begun, and therefore be down to 15 drivers which will be gutting for us there. So really unfortunate for Reese. Emerald, though, he leads the way on the formation lap. Let's go through the tyres, as we mentioned. Yep, as you mentioned, everyone on the mediums outside top 10, except Artie, who decides that he's going to start on the hards.
On those hards.
And try the alternate strategy. This could be the biggest failure we've seen, but he's got nothing to lose. He could be the biggest reward we've seen from a strategy in a long time as well. So, starting at the back, he's got nothing to lose. He's not in and out of points by a long, long way at the moment. He's by like 6 positions, and what's he up to? I think it's gone deep there. But yeah, this could be the biggest risk. Not the biggest risk, sorry, the biggest reward he can gain from such a small risk in this, because he could go for a normal strategy. He'll probably have the pace against top 10, but he's trying something different, and that's what I like to see. But at the moment, looking at this grid, who do you think has the best chance to win?
I'm going to go Lewis. BMG Lewis starting P4 on those mediums. If Emerald gets away well, gets away cleanly and can pump in those lap times, then Lewis might get stuck behind Adam Lee and Joe. Oh, no disrespect to Adam Lee and Joe, but I think Emerald's a little bit quicker. Well, by the looks of qualifying he is. So if Emerald can get away cleanly and can just really push and make the most out of those soft tyres, we could possibly see an Emerald and Lewis fighting for this win, but...
Can you give Reese an invite, by the way, please?
Yep, I'll try and give him
Oh no, hold on, he's joined, never mind, he's already joined, never mind, ignore me. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, this is going to be a very interesting race. It's 26 laps, where every driver needs to concentrate for every single moment. A lapse of concentration and you could find yourself in the wall. We're definitely in for a thriller of a race, and I cannot wait to see how this one plans out.
Yep, couple drivers that I'm excited to see. Paul 7572, I'm really excited to see what he can do today, making his debut. He was really last minute, he only joined 5 minutes before the race got underway, and he's on 5th place, second of the medium runners in this race. Adam Lee and Joe, the two Ferraris, starting very high up the order. Best grid positions of all season for both of them there. What can they do so high up the order on the worst strategy, but maybe the track position will be huge for them. Couple drivers I'm really looking forward to see today, and this is going to be one hell of a race. All 15 drivers after Reese unfortunately left are almost on the grid now, just waiting for the last few drivers. Artie is going to be the last of them, lining up in that Mercedes, which is unlike Artie. He hates the Mercedes, but he lines up in the Mercedes on the back row of the grid. Emerald on pole. Adam starts alongside on the inside of the circuit, so watch for him in turn 1. But the 5 lights are coming on now, and are on in front of the drivers, and we're away in Baku. Good start there by Adam. It looks like Emerald may well get challenged down towards turn 1, but Emerald does cover him off and keep the lead. Whilst Adam tucks into second, whilst Joe in third. Bit of carnage in the background, and so the McLaren of Beast on is trying to sink down the inside as Paul has lost a couple of positions there. Lewis though maintains P3, hitting the wall in P4 as S. Perez has made up T5. Beast on is brilliant start there in McLaren, up to P6 already, challenging towards S. Perez, down towards turn 3, he moves to the inside and going to try and go down the inside. Is he going to be able to do it? Yes he can, up into P5. Emerald defended off a little bit of pressure there from Adam Lee, who's already on his back and kept really close to him at the start and almost made a move there into turn 3, apologies for not getting out on the stream, but we saw Big Snow getting passes. Labour Red Devil down in P7, making moves at the start, so was Scott, but Paul falling backwards and Joel's falling backwards as well as he cuts the corner there. I think he's having a bit of carnage with the Toro Rosso of F1 Ben. They're coming together and they've come together into the wall, and Joel has been put to the back of the grid as Dongarang has been caught up in that as well. I don't know what happened there, and that will definitely require a serious investigation. F1 Ben is now retired from the session. So that would definitely require a serious investigation, but brilliant start there from Emerald, the two Ferraris. Perfect getaway from all 3 of them really. As Joe's actually made a mistake, he's put it into the wall a little bit. BMG Lewis down the inside, and Beasley is trying to get involved as well as he goes to the inside as well. Can't make the move, but Lewis takes P3, and now Joe has to tuck in P4, but he's getting the slipstream, he's just behind there.
Yep, now Beast Hernandez wants this action. That's tremendous start from P11 on the grid though. But can he make the move on Joe? But Joe might be looking for it on Lewis, so he's up and behind that Alpha Romeo round the outside. He will go beast tornadoes. Is he going to be looking for a move? And he's might go down the inside. It could be 3 wide, but he backs off, and then Joe backs off. Lewis goes deep in the as well, and so does beast tornadoes. Perez comes through, and then takes P4, and now can beast tornadoes go down the inside of Lewis? They make slight contact. The two Bossman drivers going side by side. It's a drag race now, down into turn 3. Label Red Devil having a great view of this now, but Beast Tornadoes has to back off, or as he looks for it down the inside. But Lewis again, we've seen that mistake in qualifying, going deep into turn 1. He does it again in the race, and this time costing him 2 positions and nearly 3.
Yep.
Oh, Beast down the inside!
There goes Beast down the inside in towards the tricky turn 5 and 6, and then on the outside he makes a bit of contact with Lewis, but they keep it clean enough, and now down towards the run towards turn 8. This is going to be a tricky move for Lewis, and can he make the move? No, he can't. He has to stay behind, but he's still hanging on the inside. And now on the inside, someone's got to back off.
Choose off!
Otherwise, this will cause carnage. As Joe's in the wall, Beast takes P4, Labour in P5, but Joe, who started P3 in this race on the soft combat tyres, he's now down in P10 and being pressurised by Alfa after going off in the wall, and he has damage as well as Artie breathes by as Joe struggles to get to grips with his car. Artie takes the P10 and is up into the points already.
Yeah, good start from him as well. Beast Tornadoes and Lewis, great battle between them both there, but they've lost a little bit of time now to Perez up ahead, and then Perez a little bit too far behind Adam Lee, who's doing very well as well, but Emerald, he's off in a league of his own at the moment, 2.2 seconds ahead of Adam Lee, which is a Lewis pits. Oh, does Lewis have damage? That is very interesting. I think Lewis might have damage yet to that Alfa Romeo car coming out of the pits there. And he change it. He gets the front wing change. It was a disaster there for Lewis as Joe also comes into the pits due to his damage. Now Paul on the Red Devil down the inside he will go.
Sorry,
and that's P5 for
missed what happened there because I had to go away for a second. I missed it. Lewis come into the pits, and the stream obviously missed it as well. And Paul's now made a couple of moves as well, and up into P5. Do you want to talk me through what happened in the stream as well, because the cameras weren't on it. As Thorpe's now retired.
Yep, that's fine. Yeah, it was just a simple move there for Paul down into P. Who's that? Oh, yeah, that's the But now Lewis, this is his race compromised massively. P10 on those mediums, and he's going to have to push now to get some very good points what he's been used to in these last few races. A safety car would save Lewis a little bit at the moment. And looking at front, Beast Tornadoes has closed in massively to Perez up ahead. It's 4th and 5th for the McLarens at the moment, but Beast Tornadoes wants to make that 3rd and 5th, as he might even get DRS this lap, but he's definitely pushing that ERS. He's an overtake, hot lap mode, sorry, coming around this last corner, 1.1 seconds, but that could definitely decrease by the time they get to the activation zone. But I don't think there'll be any DRS for Beast Tornadoes this lap, but definitely keep an eye on that one. Another fight to look at, P6 and P7, Scott versus Tom Goring. Tom Goring with a poor qualifying, making his way up through the grid. Very good, and he deserves yellow flags in sector 3. Tom Goring goes down the inside there, and he might even make a move, before the corner on Scott, and that is P7.
Labour Red Devil comes by the way as well. But yeah, Tom making a good move there, quite easy in the end with the DRS assistance in the long straight. But Tom is up to P6 in this fight and now set on the next drive, which is the McLaren driver of Paul 7572. And then Beast Tornadoes and Perez battling for P3 as Beast Tornadoes comes ever closer to the Racing Point driver. As Experiment continues to extend his lead a little bit, but not by a huge amount. It's only 3.5 now, and it was 2.5 not too long ago. So it's not extending as fast as I'd expect, and the pit stops are beginning to come around now for those soft compound runners. But they pulled a good gap, and this could be crucial for later in the race when they decide to pit onto hards, and then they need that buffer for when the others come back at them.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there, Tom. Tom and Scott doing pretty decent there. Paul getting onto the back of Beast Tornadoes, as well as Beast on the back of Perez, so we might have a three-way fight for P3. Paul got very good pace actually on his debut race, challenging his teammate Beast Tornadoes and also Perez now. And this could be a very good fight that might play out through these next few laps, and it might even be this lap between the two McLarens. Paul, right up behind Beast Tornado's coming out the last corner now. Can he get the runs he needs on his teammate? He's got overtake or half again, sorry, enabled, and he's going to get that DRS, but Beast is also probably going to get that DRS off Perez. But Beast knows it's coming. He's in the slipstream and he's now getting DRS. Beast gets it off Perez. So, but Paul, the speed that he's got on his teammate, Beast defends to the inside, but it is looking good for Paul as he sets the fastest lap of the race, as also P4 to go with it. So very impressive stuff there from Paul.
Yeah, brilliant last lap there. He closed about a second and a bit on his teammate to make the overtake at the end of the lap. Brilliant lap there by Paul. And although he had a terrible first lap, he's really come back at this and gave us a real go. And he's now up into P4. Brilliant work there by Paul. And his targets are now set on the podium, provisional podium driver of Perez. And potentially the man who can take the win here, because of obviously the two guys in the lead on the worst strategy, so they'll be compromised towards the end of the race. So the guys at the moment in the best position is obviously Emerald and Perez. But Paul could put himself into Perez's shoes and be the guy who could challenge Emerald for this victory here. And he's right behind Perez at the moment and tussling him around this middle sector, and I think he's going to make the move very, very soon, maybe on this lap.
Yeah, and who's his eye has to before the straight as he's getting very close to Perez there, but he also has to be aware of his teammate though behind him. They aren't too far behind, and hope Beast will be looking to try and capitalise on this fight as well, because he was closing into Perez before Paul caught them in there. But Paul, he's right up behind Perez now, coming through the last corner now. Yellow flags in sector 2, not too sure who that is for. But Paul, he's in the slipstream of Perez coming around the last corner. I think this is it now, the last corner. And in the DRS now, Joe has retired from the session. Paul, DRS has enabled and Perez is defenceless as they come across the line now, and Adam Lee comes into the pit, so it's now P2 for Paul as Adam Lee makes a very early pit stop on those soft tyres as well, and it'll be interesting to see where this brings him out. Yeah, he goes to hard, so he's able to get to the end of the race from here, but as his teammate retires, the other Ferrari comes into the pits at Adam Lee, and he's going to emerge in P8 ahead of championship leader Lewis and behind Alfarati, who's going for an alternate strategy, go long first stint on those hard compound tyres. He hasn't actually made, I don't think he's made any overtakes at the moment, but he's kept it clean, he's kept it cool, and he'll fork his way through the field as time progresses. But now 9.9 seconds out in the lead is Exponential, but he will be pitting very, very shortly. Potentially even this lap I expect, as Paul is beginning to pull away from Perez, but Perez is still in that DRS, and Paul now needs to break that in this middle sector. Whilst he has the dirty air, while Perez is facing the dirty air, so that he's not hassled down the main straight and potentially re-overtaken as Perez actually made a little mistake there, I think, ran wide, and now is out of DRS range from Paul ahead. So now Paul is clear and potentially safe from the McLaren driver behind, and he's now under pressure from Beast Tornadoes for that P3. So he was P3 last lap, but he got overtaken. Now he's P3 again after adding pit stop, but he could get overtaken by the second McLaren as round the final proper corner we go, and onto the main straight. Beast is just 0.3 of a second away from Perez, and I've got a feeling this is going to be one of the easiest moves that Beast will do all race here, as onto the straight, coming towards DRS zone now, and as DRS is activated, you'll see the gap closing and closing and closing. It's not going to be that easy. It's not as easy as I expected, but he goes to the outside, off the track there for Beast Tornadoes. He breaks as late as he does, but not as late as he can to get around the outside. He stays in P4 and Perez in P3, so I said it was going to be one of the easiest moves of his career. It's not. It's nowhere near that, and he didn't make the move. Yeah, the strange one there for Beast, not too sure what he was thinking, but he's definitely thinking of a move now on Perez. Down at turn 3, on the brakes, down the inside, he will go off the full swing there. He just about makes a corner and squeezes Perez out. Inch perfect there from the McLaren man. Tom Goring is wanting on a bit of this action, and it may be now. Perez makes a mistake there, and Tom Goring round the outside, and yes he does. P4 for Tom Goring, and I did say Tom has good pace, and the podium is now possibly on for Tom.
Yeah, but don't forget Adam Lee is right in play here, because he's pitted already, as there's Alfarati on the back of Scott trying to make a move now. His hard tyres are beginning to come into their element now, and become quicker than those mediums, and despite being on default setup, he's catching up to these medium runners, and the first target is Scott, as he's up the hill now through the castle section, and out of the castle section now onto this, well, kind of straight, the left-handed bank straight, so round through this section we go, right behind Scott at the moment, but unable to make a move into there as he goes a little bit deep there, lost quite a bit of time, and now he's 6 tenths behind as we head down onto the final corner, and this could be one of the trickier moves then of this race as round out of the final corner. We go down the straight, tucking into the slipstream with Artie, and through the left and the right again we go. On board with Artie, in the slipstream. Can he make the move on Scott for P6? Scott at the moment trying to defend the inside, but he moves now to the outside. He realises that Artie's not going to be close enough, and I don't think Artie's going to be close enough, and he's catching, but down towards turn 1, he's a bit too far back and stays in P7, while Scott is in P6 for a little while longer.
Yep, Tom Gorey now pressuring Beast Tornadoes for that P3, but just not enough this time around. But Tom is on the charge now, as a slight lock up there, and a slimy moment there for Tom Gorey. Now Alpha Arty on Scott, the battle for P6, but I think he's backing off and not looking for too much of a move there. But those hards, as you mentioned, definitely coming into play now, as Scott's really feeling the pressure from Arty, going a little bit deep there as well. And Arty's got the run, but he can't really make a move into this corner, and he's going to have to stay and look at the back of this Red Bull for at least a few more corners, even making contact there. So really getting frustrated, and really you can tell that Arty is a quicker driver at the moment.
Yep, also just note, out in the lead, Paul has closed that gap hugely out in front. As Emerald's out! Oh, he's left, not out, but he's left. Do you want to give him a quick invite back? But yeah, Paul is massively closing that gap, and now Emerald could be in probably one of the worst positions he's going to be in, because he built that gap, and now he's left the session, and it could now be, no, go to the party hub, and then invite more. I can't do it because I'm streaming. Go to the party hub, invite more, invite to game, and then search game tag. As Emerald's now AI comes into the pits, exploding Emerald. So now exploding Emerald comes into the pits, obviously it's AI car. Paul now in the McLaren takes the lead as Tom then just goes round the inside there into second place. I completely missed that while he'd been distracted by Emerald. And oh, actually, Emerald has had a power outage, so he's probably not going to be able to join. That is gutting for him. He could well get some points if his power comes back on. Actually, no, he doesn't need an invite. But Beast now is in P3 behind Tom Goyen, and Tom Goyen with some good pace so far this race. He's now going to try and challenge Paul 7572, who is in the lead, as now Exponential came out in P6, just ahead of Alfarati and just ahead of this man in the Ferrari and the
Joel gets Lewis.
I think Joel gets Lewis, the two potential champions battlers in it, but I mean Joel has had a poor few races, and this is just another one to add to probably a miserable season so far from him. He's only scored in Australia, which was 15 points for third place, and it's just not been a great season for him compared to what I've been expecting, and many of us have been expecting. But yep, unfortunate for Joel at the moment. Hopefully he can get back up there. Lewis now is going to try and stick with him on fresher tyres actually, so I'm surprised Joel's has actually got through there, considering Lewis is on fresher tyres and you expect to be quicker. Does Lewis have potential damage maybe, because he's already lost a second in that middle sector alone?
Yeah, we've seen him having to pit early due to damage, so maybe just a little bit of consistency Lewis has been lacking around here. As Tom Gorian really pressed that gap out from Beast Tornadoes, is looking very good at the moment. And even, as you mentioned, closing it into Paul, which possibly could be the fight for the lead. Adam Lee though on the back of Artie, he will want to try and clear Artie as quick as possible, but that ERS is very low. And that Ferrari 3%, and it's going to be basically 0 by the end of this straight. 1% in the RS, that 2%, he's somehow saving the RS on the straight. He's bumped in into a low, and he's going to have to think better of a move this time around. And if I'm Adam Lee, I will try and to save this ERS this lap, as it will not be looking good if he comes under threat. And AMS Joe and Lewis battling again, down inside. Joe goes in this contact between the two now. Joe nearly goes into the wall, but Lewis comes back down the inside into turn 2. Joe tries it round the outside and gives him very little room. Very close race between the both of them there, as Joe gets the DRS. And I think that could be the move done and dusted. There's a little bit of kind of weaving going on there from Joe's. As Emerald's back.
Yep, so
I think the damage has been done.
well, no, not really. He's down in P8, and that's only a few seconds behind Adam Lee. Let's have a look at the lead gap. He's 21 off the lead, so he could both still hold the lead when the leaders come in to make their pit stops, such as Paul, Tom Goyen, and Beast. So it's not all done just yet for Emerald. He could still win this race, but definitely he's still on for a podium here.
Yeah, I think it's just really disappointing. Did Emerald win last week? I think he did. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, he did.
I think he might have, yeah. And talking about winners, Adam Lee, he's looking for this one down inside the Scott Hill Road before the DRS zone, and is that a mistake? He also got by Artie at some point in this lap, so apologies for missing that. But is this a little bit of a mistake there from Adam Lee, because Scott's now going to get this DRS and he's definitely wanting to try and close that gap and make that position back. He's going to overtake DRS, and he's now going to get the DRS as Beast, Tornadoes and Perez pit. So where will they come out in relative to, like, Perez holds Beast up massively there, and Beast Tornadoes getting held up quite a lot actually. Oh, wait, what? That glitch? Perez just jumped Beast. What?
Maybe Beast had a bit of front wing damage that he got repaired and we didn't see. But yeah, Perez now is out behind Exploding Emerald, who is back now in his car and driving away. So yeah, as Perez now in P6, Amos Joel then followed by Lewis, followed by Beast Tornadoes, who's now dropped about 3 seconds behind S. Perez. So really costly for him there, that front wing change, or I'm assuming it's front wing change, because yeah, yellow flag in sector 1. But at the moment, Paul continues to lead. And it's Tom Goyen in second place. Both yet to pit, of course. They will have to pit very, very soon. And where will they come out? I think Adam Lee is at the moment your net race leader here, who is only about 18 seconds away from Paul in P1. And therefore, if Paul makes the pit stop, it means that Paul will come out behind Adam Lee. But the battle really at the moment is between Paul and Emerald, because when Paul comes to the pits, he will be very, very close to Emerald. But which side of Emerald will he be? Ahead or behind? As down the straight, will Paul come into the pits this lap? His teammate and Perez have pitted last lap, so surely the tyres are going off. Does Paul pit? No, he stays out for one more lap, at least anyway. So his tyres are going to be fresh at the end. But is it worth staying out all these extra laps just for fresher tyres at the end? Or
probably not. Whoa, Beast's on the back of Lewis now. He's going to have to make this move quick. He's going to get the DRS there. And this is looking like it will be a pretty simple move. He said this will be the easiest overtake when he tried to do it. I think it was on Perez. Well, this is a very easy one there for him. I think he's made the move even before the braking zone. That is P8. But that's what he needs, is he can now close on the back of Jules, who's not too far behind Perez.
Yep, so yep, Joel's actually picking up slipstream from Perez, and Beast picking up slipstream from Joel. So I think Perez is going to come under a bit of pressure from both Joel's and Tornadoes here very, very soon. As yeah, Beast Tornadoes is catching both of them rapidly. He was 3 seconds away from Perez not too long ago. Now he's within a second of Perez, even with Joel's in the way. So, excuse me. So yeah, Beast really done a good outlap there compared to Perez, as Perez is losing time to Emerald, who's now beginning to put the pressure on Alfarati, who sits P4, going very, very long in that first stint. He'll be going for another 5 laps or so yet, so it is a crucial move for Emerald, especially in his battle for the lead of this race, with Paul 7.572, and the gap now is 23.6 from the leader, and Paul, I think, could well hold the lead when he comes into the pits, as he's now down the main straight. But yeah, the battle now, Emerald versus Artie, and this could be costing Emerald a chance to retain, well, basically, retain the gap to Paul, as, yes, Paul stays out for the lap. Tom Goyen finally pits, so Paul actually feels comfortable in his tyres, so he must have done a brilliant job on those tyres in this first stint.
It looks like he was still a little bit indecisive there, and last second just swerved out the way down Emerald. Gets Artie, but Artie will be looking back at Emerald, and Artie is now going to get that position back off Emerald, and this is costing Emerald a lot of time now, locking up massively that front left tyre, as Artie was slightly deep, and now Emerald will be wanting to try and get the move on Artie done very quickly as it just comes through that corner there.
as Tom Goins maintained
Oh,
P2 actually. Tom Goins is ahead of Adam Lee,
wow,
and
yeah.
therefore Paul is actually your leader, and Emerald on the inside of Artie, he's going to claim P4, but Emerald is legitimately in P4, and now we'll have to have a mountain task to probably catch up to Tom Goins and Paul, who'll be on much fresher tyres at the end of this race. I don't think Emerald will win this race, and with Adam 4 seconds down the road, will he be able to even catch? Will he be able to catch Adam Lee? Will Emerald? I'm not sure. Adam is on older tyres, so maybe he'll struggle towards the end. But Adam is picking up slips from Tom Goyen, and he will do that for the next few laps potentially. So this could be probably Emerald off the podium here, which is not what he wants. Oh, Paul's made a mistake.
Yeah.
Paul's just lost loads of time. Look at the times now. It was 18 seconds from Tom to Paul. Now it's just 12. Paul must have made a mistake somewhere. I did see a yellow flag pop in sector 2.
Yeah.
But I don't see any damage. So has Paul just gone too long and made a mistake and put it into a wall somewhere? And yes, he is. He's staying out for another lap. Surely with that mistake, this is a huge risk for Paul to be taking. We could be hitting puncture range now for Paul, who's done really, really well so far in his debut. But is he just trying to be a bit too greedy and trying to be a bit too fresh on his side at the end? Is he trying to potentially stretch it out to go on the softs towards the end? RC's pitted on the hards, but Paul hasn't pitted on mediums. What is going on with Paul? What is he trying to do? This will be a brilliant drive if he has really fresh time at the end, and will be really quick at the end, and that's potentially what I'm thinking. But surely these tyres can't do it. Surely it's just one of those impossible tasks to go mediums to soft in Baku. But he could do it. He's doing a brilliant job on these mediums at the moment. But now he's got to think about when is he going to pit, how can he keep these tyres on the road and out at puncture range, and then when will he go on the softs?
Yep, that's going to be pretty interesting now. As Lewis and Jules have been going at it all race, 7th and 8th doing pretty well, but that is not really the focus here. And this is going to be a very interesting race, so I'm assuming Tom Gorin's the net race leader. I'm right in saying, followed by Adam Lane and Emerald in 4th and 3rd.
So yeah, Tom's now the net race leader in that half, which is not something I thought I'd be saying before today, considering what Tom has been like earlier in the season. Yep, as Adam is in 2nd, which is not something I thought I'd be saying as well, considering his past result and past form as well. But obviously he's not in 2nd at the moment, he's in 3rd because Paul is out in the lead. Well, he is pitting this time. He is finally in the pits. Now what tyres is he going to go on to? Is he going to go on the hards or the softs? The softs is a risk,
if it's a hard,
but it could pay off.
One.
But the hards...
Why is he in the hards?
Will
he's taking the mediums longer than they took the hards. What?
The hards will take him to the end of the race, and he'll be quicker than Emerald and Adam, but the gap now to Tom is 6 seconds. He was ahead of Tom by 2.3 when Tom came into the pits. And now, with only 2 laps fresher tyres than Tom, I don't think he's going to be able to catch Tom. But can he catch Emerald and can he catch Adam? I think this is well possible that can happen here.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting race. If Emerald can get his socks on, he could even be challenging for this win. Paul on the hards, he could be doing it. Beasts, if he can be quick, he could be doing it. And we could even see an outside chance from Perez. So this is a mad race here. But Tom Gorin, he is in the driver's seat, and this is his race to lose at this moment in time.
Yep, definitely. So, just looking through the field at the moment, Paul's already taken quite a 3/10 of a second out of Tom on those cold tyres. So he still has the pace potentially to win this race. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. He's now in DOS of Emerald. He's now in DOS of excuse me, Adam Lee. So it's going to be interesting. As now my throat's being weird. Sorry. Yeah, it's Emerald now in DOS of Adam Lee, and Paul in DOS of Emerald. Could Paul make a double move here? He's catching up to Emerald. He's catching up to Adam Lee. Emerald's catching up to Adam Lee. This could be 3 wide down towards turn 1. Adam goes to the outside. Emerald to the outside. Paul to the outside there, and Paul's going to go all the way around the outside ahead of both of them, but can Emerald stick it in there? He locks up, forces Paul off, and then the crash. All three of them have made contact with the wall. Adam's been spun around, Emerald's been spun around, Paul makes contact with the wall and lost his front wing, a bit of his front wing, but he escapes unscathed and is in P2. Huge collision there, and now Emerald is under pressure from Esperanza on the outside of turn 2, and now on the run down towards turn 3. Can Esperanza go round the outside of Exploding Emerald? It looks like he can, but can he brake late enough? Emerald brakes a little bit later and holds P4. Paul now, though, has got front wing damage, but is in P2. What's more important here, track position or having the better car? Esperanza actually gets past Exploding Emerald, who made a mistake there. He's down the inside of Exploding Emerald, trying to hold that position for all his might, but he can't do so. And around the outside he goes, he can't make the position. He's down to P5. Adam down to P6, and Adam has damage as Paul is out of the race. In towards the castle section, his foaming damage, which is a bit too much to handle in the castle section. And on debut race, after what it was all going so well, he's out of this race. Tom Gorin leads, Be Still and Aders in second place, benefiting from all this, and Esperanza also benefiting up in P3, but under immense pressure from the Red Bull driver of Exploding Emerald in P4.
Oh no! And then Artie slowed down the AMS, Joe's got damage, and he splits a car, and then he's in the wall, and then Joe is in the wall, as he's now retired.
He's left.
Oh no, I've just lost a... But he's... same thing.
So now we've only got 10 runners
mad.
left in this race, and I mean we haven't said it on stream, but me and Callum made a bet before this race about how many drivers will finish this race. I predicted 10, and he predicted 12. So, you know,
Oh, I need to hold your bet there. Emerald on Perez down the inside. They don't want to hear about your bets, but Emerald blocking up there. But yeah, I don't know. I just need to.
As Perez comes back,
yeah.
Perez's damage actually. Perez has quite major damage on the left-hand side of that car. So Emerald actually made the move quite easily around the outside. So I don't know how bad Emerald's damage is. I think he was in the main sort of bulk of that incident. And yeah, I think he has. But the carnage we were expecting at Baku has really happened here. Oh no, he's missing an end plate. So Emerald does have damage, but it's nowhere near as severe as Perez. But look at this now. Label Red Devil, no damage. P5, he's only about 7 seconds away. 6 seconds away from this battle for P3.
But 13
and considering,
you still need pits.
Oh yeah, I mean he's pitted already, but can he take this to the end? We saw Paul take those tyres to lap 14 on the mediums. He can do that. He can easily do another 10 laps on a hard at the moment. I think Label Devil could come into play, but he's got a job on his hands to do it. But then who's next? It's Artie, the man who started at the back of the grid on default setup. Could yet be brought into play for not only high points, but a podium potentially if Emerald and Perez suffer really badly with the tyres. But being 14 seconds behind Emerald and Perez, that's definitely a tall order. And that could be a little bit too much. He could have,
I think.
Yeah, I think so. Will Perez pit? I'm looking at his damage. It's very severe. He's definitely going to lose P4 at this rate to Label Devil, potentially P5 to Artie at this rate, but he doesn't pit. He stays out. He decides to better stick with it, and I don't blame him, to be honest. Looking at the gap for the moment, there's really no risk in staying out. I don't think he's going to get caught up by Scott. I think looking at how spread out the thing is, it's basically a no risk but high reward potentially for Perez staying out.
Yeah, definitely. But yep, this race is definitely carnage. Dongerang now actually on the points, so he's been quiet. He's not really been too fast, but he's getting the points that he needs at the moment. But Adam Lee and Scott may be going at it. Adam Lee obviously in that crash there, hopefully trying to salvage some points on those mediums in the back of Scott, but he's not going to be able to make a move into turn 3. So you're going to have to stay behind Scott for a few more corners at least.
Yep. So just looking at Perez is definitely going to be caught up by Label Devil and Artie at the moment. Scott though is under pressure from Adam Lee down towards the middle sector now, the castle section. Adam's going to be stupid to try and move. as, yep, Adam up the hill now. He's definitely not going to try and move into the castle section as we thought, but he's definitely going to be thinking about a move very, very shortly. He's got the pace at the moment on Scott ahead, and it should be easy enough down that main straight.
Yeah, definitely. Those medium tires basically knew it. And Scott, yeah, I think he'll be happy with it if they can just get P8, but he's also going to have BMG Lewis, who's on fresh hards, so I think Scott will try and play a bit smart here. Oh, but Adam Lee getting extremely close to the back of Scott, even having to back off there as these two go side by side, Ferrari versus Red Bull, but that DRS and the ERS might be a little bit too powerful for Scott to handle. Will Scott try and send one up the inside, or is he going to have to think better of it and stay behind Adam Lee? And he's going to have to think better and stay behind Adam Lee for this lap.
Yep, so I think Scott's really gonna struggle now to get back into get back on Adam's side, as now Adam's on the fresher medium compound tyres, so Scott's on old hard compound tyres, so I think it's going to be difficult for Scott to get back at Adam Lee. But Adam Lee now is going to try and pull away. He's going to try and chase after Artie, but I think that's going to be a tall order in itself, as Perez is really going to be under pressure from Label Red Devil and Artie soon. They're all converging on each other. Artie's the fastest man out of these three, Label's second fastest, while Perez is the slowest out of these three. So they're all coming together, and we could well see a three-way battle very, very soon between S Perez, Label Red Devil and Alpha Artie for P4 in this race. And if anything happens at the front, which it could well happen at this rate, then it's going to be a battle for the podium.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just going to check if there's actually been any penalties this race. Nope. So actually everyone's been pretty clean. Emerald pitting maybe?
No.
Oh, I think it looks like he's thinking about it though. He's a little bit quite far over to the left than you normally would be. I suppose that would cost him a podium, so there wouldn't be much sense in it, to be honest. But there's not much actually action happening at the moment, if I'm going to be honest. But I think this race has gave us enough action anyway.
Yep, obviously it's all beginning to calm down now, as everyone's really just like, they're not together at the moment, where you usually see this point in the middle of the race where nobody's really together when all the pit stops are happening, but we're really getting it now. But we will get a battle soon between Label Red Devil and Perez, and Artie will come into it eventually. Whether he can get into it before the end of the race, I'm not sure, but I think he will definitely on Perez. Maybe Red Devil will be a bit out of reach if Red Devil can get past Perez quickly. But yeah, Label Red Devil really have to think about his tyre conservation very soon, because yeah, he's getting up close now towards the back of Perez, but on very, very old tyres. He could potentially be in puncture range in a couple laps time, probably not now, but in a couple laps he could. And for a man who finished in P3 last time out, moved himself right up the championship order, he's just 25 points away from the championship lead. And with BMG Lewis not scoring today, a P4 would be huge. Well, not scoring, but scoring just 2 points. P4 would be huge for Label Red Devil, and potentially he could be an outsider for the championship here if he could get into the top 4, and maybe with Emerald having a collision, or Beast Tornadoes spinning off, or Tom Gorian, who's had a habit of spinning so far this season, going off from the lead of this race. Label Red Devil could be in a shot of the podium and potentially some huge points in this race. But he's catching up to Perez now, who's really just trying to hang on for P3, and hanging on as he will. I think this move will... Sorry, P4. This move looks like it's going to be very inevitable very soon.
Yeah, but Label Red Devil has to be careful. He still has to take these tires for another 6 laps. He needs to be a little bit wary, because I think he'll be feeling them already. Because these tyres are as old as... These tyres are what Perez will be feeling in 6 laps time, not even as bad as that. So I wouldn't even be surprised if he might actually have to pit again, but I don't think he'll be wanting that. I think he's going to try and have to last these ones out, but I think we could definitely see a possible puncture, or maybe just a mistake coming from those wearing tyres and a few laps as he's pushing away is.
Yep, now into the middle sector, you can see Label Red Devil is really closing now on S Perez. The gap is less than a second just now, but it's only just less than a second, so Label's going to have to really put on a good middle sector if he wants to get the position. He's got some EOS in reserve, but he wants to save that off main straight. But look at Perez's EOS, he's on 100%, so... Excuse me, so yeah, he's going to have a lot of straight line speed as Perez if he wishes to use it. And they're also fine on fuel, both of them, so... Label now coming down towards turn 15, and then down the hill, in towards the final proper corner of the lap, and in the final sector of the lap, and around the final corner. The gap is just a few tenths of a second, 6/7 of a second, and onto the straight we go. This is probably crucial for Laboretta. Wazati is catching all the time. Can Laboretta will make the move as Emble says the fastest lap of the race, but Laboretta was catching and catching and catching. He's tucked out of the slipstream though, and he's not catching as quickly as he would, and now Perez cuts in, and down the inside goes Laboretta, but it's not enough to make a move, and Perez holds the position around the outside, and then down towards turn 2, they stay line astern, and that'll release the fastest lap of the race. Now out of turn 2 comes Laboretta and Perez in the lead as Laboretta taking the slipstream again. Maybe he wants to stay behind for one more lap, just to conserve just to not like stick in the slipstream and therefore protect himself from Marty, and then make that move on the final lap where he cannot be caught, because he's made the move pretty much on the final lap of the race where you can't, there's no other opportunity for the drive behind. So that could be a Labour that was thinking at the moment, especially with those tyres. He won't be able to get away too much, and with Artie hot on his heels, he's going to breeze by if Artie's given any opportunity with the extra traction and extra speed that he has at the moment. So that's the only logical explanation I can think about taking out the slipstream. Artie's just hit the back of Label. Red Devil there up the castle section. Label's round. Artie's lost his front wing, and a collision between the both of them mean that Adam Lee comes through and takes P5. Perez has lost his pressure now. Artie takes P6 and Label down to P7. Lewis is up to P8 after Scott's I think just been overtaken there so Scott's now P9. Dongarang taking the final point at the moment. But yeah, big incident between Artie and Label Level. It's just like Artie has carried too much momentum, or more momentum than he was expecting Label Red Devil and Perez to have up the hill, and just completely hit Label Red Devil. Yep, Label does have damage. This will definitely be a Steward's inquiry after the race.
So Lotus will catch him now.
A very hectic race here in Baku.
Yep, this is going to give Lotus a good chance now. Artie makes a move on Adam Lee. So there you have it. Artie's just killed Label Red Devil in the pits, but he gets that P5 in the end. So I suppose it's a 1-1 for Artie, but it may not be the same case in this race now. Adam Lee does back off and think better of trying to challenge Artie for this lap now. Label Red Devil pits for the softs. He'll come out in P9, which is a real disappointment for him, considering he was riding up there on P5 fighting for P4 just one lap ago.
Yeah, but now he's behind Lewis, who I don't think he's in with the championship shout this season, but he was an outsider for the championship if the result went that way. And now he's behind Lewis, who's now scoring some decent points today in P7. So the Alfa Romeo man will be pleased that Label Red Devil, who's the closest competitor really now, except for Emerald, is behind him, and now he's got to hope that Emerald makes a mistake. And with front wing damage, you know he could well make a mistake, as Tom Gorin comes across the line to start lap 24 of 26, just 3 laps to go in this race. And as it's all calm, who is your driver today?
I'm going to go a little bit boring and just say Tom Gorin. What an outstanding driver. I think he's from near the back of the grid if I can get the right thing up. Position change, 13 positions gained. Yeah, some of the JRT boys finally leave. It's good to have you on board. But Tom Gorin in the lock-up there actually, maybe just feeling a little bit of pressure. Just this was probably his first win since season 1, am I right in saying? Maybe?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, it's not
because he didn't race in season 2,
so don't curse him, but it could well be. It could well be his first win of obviously this season. I think last season as well. So yeah, it's definitely last season. So yeah, it could well be his first win since season 1. I don't even know if he won in season 1. So this could be potentially Tom Gorin's first ever win in RFL. I'm not 100% sure. Do you know whether he won in season 1 for sure?
I'm just guessing he was always quite quick, so I'm just kind of assuming.
Well, I honestly don't think he did. So this could be Tom Going's first ever win in RFL. I honestly don't think he did because, I mean, I'm just thinking about who was top in that league that season. So I think Tom Going could well be on his way to his first ever RFL victory here. But apologies, this is not, so we're not going to PR that this is his first win. It might not be. But yeah, Tom Going well on his way now for a brilliant result and a win. And the first win at least 2 seasons for Tom Going. Alfarati and Adam Lee are beginning to close in again on Esperez. Just 3.5 is the gap between Alfarati and Esperez, and Adam Lee just 4/10 of a second behind the Mercedes driver. With Racing Point normally, Alfarati will score points for Racing Point because he joined late, which is the only reason he's in Mercedes. So yeah, Adam Lee, the man who could have won this race, could have been on the podium definitely though. He's now challenging Alfarati for P5 as round the outside we go in the DRS zone. Adam Lee will just pull ahead over DRS and into P5 goes Adam Lee. And what's been a decent recovery in what's been a carnage last 10 laps here.
Yep. Tom Goring, just coming through this castle section for hopefully his second last time. That must be a nerve-wracking bit. You just can't crash now on the last lap, and it's all up to them not do it.
Yeah, but Artie then takes back Adam Lee round the outside of turn 2. Turn 3. Good move there by Artie. And they're closing in on Esperez all the time. Now just 2.1 is the gap as Adam trying to have a look around the outside there. He can't make the move though. And he stays in P5, does Artie.
And I've just found out an interesting fact for you. Tom Goring has never won.
Artie, sorry, round the outside. Adam down the
Artie.
inside, and Artie has to back down there in towards the castle section. Hopefully he doesn't take too much momentum like he did on Labour, but he doesn't. And yeah, Artie is down to P6, and Adam is up to P5. A brilliant, aggressive move there by Adam.
They're catching Perez. We could see a little bit of a fight for 4th place maybe. Because
Tom Going started his final lap of the race. Sorry, just to interrupt there. I just want to make sure everyone knows.
Yeah.
But Adam Lee is just 1.1 seconds behind his press. This could be a sprint finish to the line, like a drag race here at the end of the race. A sprint, pretty much a 1 kilometre sprint race down a straight here towards the end of this race. Because these guys are going to be very, very close to the end of this race. There's Artie round the outside and up into P5 on the main straight there, and into turn 1 he takes P5 away from Adam Lee, and he's now ahead of the Ferrari driver and just 1 second away from the Racing Point driver, also his teammate in P4. But Tom Goyen, what a drive it's been from him today. You said he's your driver of the day, and I can't look past him for my driver of the day either. He's been brilliant, he's been controlled, the carnage has happened around him, but he's kept his head down and come through it all, and he's going to take his first ever victory in RFL.
Yep, very impressive there from Tom Goring, just coming around the last few proper hard corners now. And what a drive it's been from Tom Goring. And as you mentioned, it's his first run in RFL, and what a win to take it here. Coming through the last few corners now, and the sigh of relief will come through his body, and he has now got realisation that he is going to take the win in RFL Season 4 Baku. He weaves to come across the line, and Tom Goring gets his first ever RFL win. What a drive there from Tom Goring, but Adam Lee and Artie going at it there, and that is for P5, so the action doesn't stop as Beast Tornadoes get his P2. Emerald is going to come across the line in P3, but the battle for P4, 5 and 6 is still undecided. Adam Lee on the back of Perez. Perez might get that DRS off Jules, which is going to be very, very mighty here as there's yellow flags in Sector 3, but Adam Lee on the back of Perez, and he's got so much more speed than Perez. Where's he going to go? Down the inside, and he's going to make the move before the line, and is it going to be on the line? They're side by side, and actually Perez with that DRS has got a little bit more speed, and he's going to come across the line and just take P4. That AMS show saves Perez there from losing that position, that DRS inevitably costing Costing Adam Lee, that P4, Artie comes home P6, Lewis with a good recovery drive, and P7, Label Red Devil after that punt gets home P8, Scott P9, and Dongerang will finish this race in P10.
Yep,
Oh,
Joel's
there's 10
obviously
finishers.
Yep, the 10 finishers, which means that you have to do a forfeit, my friend. We'll discuss that after the stream, but yep, Dongerang will come home in P10 and claim 1 point to kickstart his championship. Obviously, first race for Dongerang. He's got massive front wing damage there, I just noticed, for the first time I boarded him all race. And round towards the line he goes. He's going to claim P10 of this race, yeah, very quiet race, but I think he got caught up in the carnage at the start of the race involving F1 Ben and AMS Joels. So I noticed him without front wing. But yeah, Dongerang P10, and what a race that was. That was a mental race in RFL Baku, and a first ever victor for Tom Gorin, and there he is on the podium there. And ahead of Beast Tornadoes with a brilliant race, actually, probably underrated in how much we've praised him. That was a good drive by Beast Tornadoes, and then Emerald, after his blackout and then his collision, comes home in P3, which is probably better than I thought he would after that. After especially the blackout, but especially the collision as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what a race it was. It doesn't top China last week, but it probably is definitely up there with another brilliant race there. And RFL, as I mentioned, Tom Goring from P14 on the grid gets that maiden win in RFL. And what a win it was. Wins by 7 seconds over actually someone that went, we could see under the radar a little bit. Beast Tornadoes in P2, also from 11th on the grid. Another great drive from him. Emerald from pole position gets P3 in after that collision. Perez just about gets home in P4. Adam Lee in P5. Oh my god, excuse me, got hiccups. R8 in P6. Lewis in P7. Label Red Devil in P8. Scott in P9. And Dongerang is your last finisher, and he gets the last points with a 3-second time penalty. Well, AMS Joe, Paul, Joe and Thorpsey, and then ERL F1 Ben are your retired drivers, and also I think it was Simmel, GRT Simmel, one that didn't even start the race. So what a race that was, and we'll try and get the drivers on for the podium interviews.
Yep, do you want to give them an invite? Yeah, that was a brilliant race, and I'm just making a tweet now for the RFL account. That was a great race by Tom, great race by Beast Tornadoes as well, and great, well, not a great race by Emerald, but it was a good qualifying and a decent drive. Obviously, he got unlucky with his blackout, but coming back though, and despite the crash, still finishing P3, very, very strong. Obviously, there's going to be some investigations afterwards, but I think he's got a gap behind that he's probably going to be safe for keeping that position. We've got Tom going in this party now, our race winner. We've also got Beast Tornadoes and Explode Emerald. So we'll start with Tom. So Tom, first ever RFL victory. Just sum up how you feel.
Oh man, I can't tell you how I feel, man. After 4 seasons, like I've been here since pretty much the beginning, since the first race. There's only like 4 or 5 people as well who's also been here since day one. I honestly thought I was going to be one of those people that would have decent pace but never win a race, and that's finally happened today. And I can't describe how I feel right now. I feel great.
Yep, and just then summarise what happened in your race. So obviously you started down in I think it was 14. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you started down P14. So what actually happened in qualifying, first of all? Why were you so far down?
No, I pretty much, since Baku, I made the decision not to qualify, since I knew that there was going to be a lot of crashes on the first and second lap, because you know what Baku's like, tight, narrow. There's going to be a lot of incidents, a lot of collisions, people making overtakes that they shouldn't be making on the first lap. I think at the start it was a little bit laggy. I think Artie, who just made it, like, we ghosted a couple of times, and there was a few times where I came close to another car and didn't get damaged. But I've been all just my mindset going into this race was just consistency and just not hitting the walls. Lowest laps out of the top five, the top 10, knocking it out the walls. And I think those first 5 laps just really proved how hectic Baku can be, you know. But listen, it doesn't matter where you start the race. You know, as long as you keep it consistent, then you will finish high. Before you know it, I'm in the top five, and then more crashes happen. I'm in the top two, and then the undercut. Originally pitted lap 12. I didn't expect Paul to go that long. I thought he was going to undercut me, but it turns out that he he went longer. So pitted lap 12, and then he got damage. And then by the time he pitted, I took the lead and just never looked back.
Yep. Well, obviously you saw. I don't know whether you really had an idea on how Paul was doing out in front at certain points, but obviously until he crashed, he was probably our main rival for that victory. So when you found out he crashed, was that a sense of relief, or was it? Did you not even know he was a threat at that point?
It was just a sense of motivation to try and keep on pushing. You just never know like how much the gap is between you and the car ahead, especially when he crashes and he has front wing damage. So the only thing that I was thinking of was just pushing, but not too much in case I crashed or spun out and stuff. And yeah, just when I crossed the line and realized I was ahead of him, I was like, okay, this could be on now, as long as I'm consistent. And then Paul, I don't know what happened to him. I think he crashed or just DNF'd or something. And then before you know it, I had like a 8, 9, 10 second lead over Tornadoes and Emerald, and then I thought Emerald was going to catch up since he looked massively quick, and then he had to pit again for some reason, and then it was all about being consistent until the end.
Yep. Well, unless Callum has any questions, we'll move on to our second place driver.
Nope, just about done on that one, Tom.
Yep.
Thank
So
you.
congratulations, Tom. First ever RFL victory. And we move on to our second place driver, a man who started low down as well, same with Tom, but not as low and didn't finish as high. But still a brilliant drive nonetheless. Well done, Beast Tornado, second place for you. Just talk us through that opening stint. You had a solid first stint and you made up some good positions. Just talk us through it.
Yeah, I had a pretty good race start. I went from like 11th to 5th or 4th, I don't know. It was like very hectic, so I took advantage of the situation, but like at around lap 4, I might have damaged my front wing in the castle. So my pace wasn't that good at the first stint, but when I pitted and replaced the front wing, I was just doing time trial lap after time trial lap after time trial lap. So just keeping consistent as best as I can. But obviously I saw Emerald and someone else crash, which I had to avoid, luckily, and I did. But yeah, it was a shame also for Paul, because I think he would have done a really good job. But yeah, it was quite a hectic race, but I'm happy I kept it out of the wall.
Yeah, well, you did have a battle with Tom Gorin at a point, our eventual race winner. Were you just not able to keep up with him in the end? Did he have more pace, or did you think that did you have a problem that was restricting you from keeping up with him during that race?
I think if I didn't damage my front wing, I would have been able to keep up with him. But when he was behind me, I just didn't battle him for position because I knew he was way quicker than me and I had a damaged front wing. So I just let him go, and then I didn't even know he was gonna be ahead of me after the pit stop. So yeah, I wasn't really looking. I thought he was someone that still had to pit. So, but yeah, he was fantastic today. Super consistent and kept it out of the wall, which is the most important thing around Baku.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you and Tom are the only drivers that had a clean race today. Hence how crazy Baku is, and we'll probably see more similar action in Tier 1. But I have no more questions to ask unless Callum has anything to ask. We'll move on to third place.
Not just well done on that second place, Beast.
Cheers.
Yep, so congratulations, Beast, but we'll move on to Emerald now, and the man who could have won that race, but didn't. He had two major points of notice there. It was his blackout, or what we understand was a black electricity blackout, which put him which made him leave for a couple of laps, and then obviously his collision with Perez and I forgot who it was now. Perez, and I think
It
it
was
might
with
have been
Paul and Adam Lee.
Adam Lee.
Paul. Oh yeah, Adam Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just talk us through then your race as a whole, and especially those two moments that I just mentioned.
Ah, man. I never want to do that again. Nice predictions. No, I was doing fine up until, well, that power outage. It's been happening since 2 weeks ago when the whole of Java just is like out for like half a day. It's been happening for like at least every day. So it's been a concern, but and about the incident, well, I don't know. Just happened.
Yep. Well, talk us through your incident then with I think it was, I'm pretty sure it's Perez and Paul. So not Perez and Paul. Sorry. I don't know. You know who it was. So just talk us through that incident.
Adam
What
Lee.
actually happened? Adam Lee. That was it. Yeah. Perez and Adam Lee. Just talk us through what happened from your
Uh,
perspective.
Well, it was me, Paul, Adam Lee. Adam Lee was ahead. Paul was behind me. I got DRS from Adam Lee, and then pretty wide going to turn one. I outbroke Paul, and I was on the inside to make a cutback. So he was on the inside. He hanged around the outside, which surprised me, and so I just tapped his iPod, and then Adam Lee just got collected.
Yeah, well, unlucky because I guess there'll probably be student inquiries into it, but unlucky about that. But for now, your P3. I have no further questions, so unless Callum has any questions, we'll wrap up.
Nope, just well done on that great recovery drive, mate, and it's a good P3.
Yep, well, congratulations, Mud. Congratulations, Spieth. Congratulations, Tom, on your podiums. Thank you for all the drivers taking part today, and thank you for Callum for joining me in the commentary box, and thank you, obviously, to all of you for watching today. What a race we saw. Carnage, action, overtaking, it was all there, and it will be all there in 25 minutes' time for Tier 1. Make sure you tune in, same channel at 9 o'clock BST, and we'll see you there. I've been your commentator,
gonna
Morgan
bed.
561. Callum G has been alongside me, and we'll see you next time.